First, I want to start off by saying I think cryptocurrency is a really good idea, and I'm not making this video to hate on it whatsoever. I just want to get this information out here so it's aware that everybody knows what some of the really bad downsides are and what to look out for to hopefully curb these a little bit. So first off, you probably know that cryptocurrency uses an absorbent amount of power, and of course that has to come from somewhere, etc., which is fine. And most clean sources don't really cause that much damage, like getting your energy from solar panels, etc. Those are just good examples of clean energy you can get it for that doesn't really affect the environment, really doesn't affect where we live, things like that. It really has no bad impact. But I really want to make this video because if you guys don't know, some of the largest Bitcoin, I'm using Bitcoin as the example, Bitcoin farms are in China, which of course you're thinking, oh, what's wrong with China? And I'm not trying to be mean to China in any way. I'm just saying that that's a fact. They're large. Most of them are of course, in China. And China also makes most of its electricity from coal-burning power plants or inefficient non-renewable resources. So the reason why I make that point is because some of the biggest farms, of course, with the fact that Bitcoin, I believe, or cryptocurrency in general, uses more electricity than all 150, I don't even know how many countries. It uses more electricity than all the other countries combined if you were to take out cryptocurrency. So just to put that in perspective, and that's pretty insane, the amount of electricity. We've practically doubled it from what we were doing before cryptocurrency came along. And if you think about it, climate change as it is, of course, all these different countries start, getting a lot more electric demand. They'll probably go through and use some cheap electricity using coal and etc. for, these things. Now, obviously, I don't mean to say this like in U.S. we have, some other alternatives. We have nuclear power plants. We've got solar panels. And I know China has some solar panels. And I'm not making fun of, I'm not trying to say that, give absolutes, that China does have some of these other things, but most of the people are going to be looking for cheap energy, and the cheapest energy tends to come from the coal burning power plants just because it's cheap. And of course you want a higher profit margin, so people will go out, look for these places, and of course in China they'll start building these huge farms that will burn massive electricity to do these transactions. And I don't want to say this like cryptocurrency is going to be the end of the human race. It's not going to be the only reason, but if you look at it, if you start putting out all these, extra, if you double the amount of electricity that's needed, they'll double amount of output of, these greenhouse gases and such, and basically cause climate change, which sadly is a fact, an indisputable fact that you cannot argue with. Climate change is real, and basically it just contributes to that, causing it to speed up a little bit. So I make this video not because I think Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, Ethereum, all these things are not bad. It's just you got to watch out where you get them, because if you're sitting here and you're getting it from somewhere that's not helping the, like if you had like a solar panel or something, you could probably rig up your mining rig up to that solar panel, and you could probably get, if you, of course you have to pay for the solar panel, but you would have basically unlimited clean energy that you would be able to put on there, and you wouldn't cause any issues to the planet. And I'm not trying to say, I'm not making this because I feel like, I think Bitcoin is bad. As I said, I think that it's just important that if we're going to do this, which, let's be honest, cryptocurrency has no real tangible value. It's not like gold or anything where you can have in your hand. It's more of this online stuff that people are willing to trade for, which is fine. It's just you've got to keep in mind that if the power goes out, something like that, you're of course not going to have anything in your hand. So the reason why I say that you can get clean energy will just basically help curve and help with making the fact that we don't have as much strain on the places that are using these coal energy and stuff. Because if as I said, you double the amount that's needed, of course you double the amount of output these plants have to do to keep up with it. Basically just, as I said, attributing to that. And if you're thinking, well, what would I care about? This is not going to affect me. I sadly can't say, you really don't have to do anything. The best thing I can tell you is, you can, of course, if you're living in somewhere, you can always check to see where your power is coming from. That'd be a good thing. And of course, you can also do a couple other things to get, power that's, get some solar panels. Of course, those are pretty expensive, let's be honest. Just see where your power is coming from, and maybe get power if you have multiple options from a little bit more of a cleaner source, so that way you're not attributing to that, at least saying you're attributing that. Because I don't want to say this, but one of the driving forces that will ultimately end human civilization will probably be climate change. And I feel like if everybody keeps, not being smart with how they get their energy for these lovely, mining operations in 21st century, then we might have an issue with that. And I feel like that would be a good thing to get this video out so people know kind of what to look out for, be a little bit more cautious what they get it for. And I mean, that's about it. I feel like it's a good idea if you know what you're doing and you know that you're not going to cause harm, because basically you're just getting a little bit of coins for harming the earth, I guess. If you put it, it depends on where you are, of course. So if you enjoyed that video, give it a thumbs up. I was sitting at the gym and I was like, I think that'd be a good video to explain. So that's what I did. Here I am. So thank you. If you're interested, check out my channel. Usually don't do rants about cryptocurrency and things like that. I usually do modding and stuff, but wanted to get this video out. Thank you for watching this far, and of course hope to see you around if you're interested.